Nope, not yet. Okay, I am live. I've got the chat pulled up on my ThinkPad. I'm gonna wait for someone to show up. Okay, we do have a person now. Say hi in the chat if you're here. But we are gonna get started. And they left. I think either that or my view no longer counts. It's hard to tell because I have the stream pulled up. So say hi if you're here. Maybe. Oh, it says 3 watching now. Okay. Alright, we definitely have someone. So we're gonna get started. This is my WinBook XP. It's a 486 laptop. I did a review on the XP5, which is the Pentium version of this, and I did mention this machine, but mine is dead. Oh, and good, Luke Davis is here. Hello. So this thing powers on, so in theory, DC to DC board works, right? We get hard drive spins up, the LCD here turns on, but no posts, no beep codes, no errors, just doesn't start. It will beep if I press the suspend resume button, which is normal, but that's like lower level, so that doesn't really tell us much about what's working. So far, what I've done, I've tested, we're getting CPU VCC. It's a bit high, but normal. It's within operating range, so that's about all I know. Hello, Rolka. Welcome to the stream. These have the leaky Varda battery, but of course I've already pulled that, and it leaked. But I double-checked all the traces, all the vias. I couldn't find a single one that didn't beep out with the multimeter, which was really surprising and a bit suspicious, but still won't work. So we have a microscope now. This is new and not tightened in properly. Come on. And I think this just might sit a little loose. Oh, it's just, there we go. It's a bit easy to dislodge it from the light, but anyway. We can use this now to troubleshoot this machine. So I also couldn't reflow anything before because I was out of flux, but I don't think I'm going to be out of flux for a while. I ordered the 30 gram tube and I didn't expect it to be this big, but I'm really glad it is because that'll last me a while. So anyway, let's take this apart and see if we can make any progress. We'll have to see if we can or if we can't, but I'll talk a bit more as the stream goes on about my theory as to what's wrong with this thing. I'm hoping it's correct, because it's really one of 3 possibilities as to why this machine won't boot. So, while I'm telling you about that, we are gonna dive in here and take this apart. So, yeah, the Chicone NB7 you have. I'd love one of those. They're neat looking machines, but unfortunately, like, 90% of them that you'll find are passive matrix. And that's just because the main way you can find one of those laptops in the US is the Canon InnovaBook 200 LS, which was basically like the first laptop, at least according to the reviews I could find of it in magazines. Everyone was calling it the first laptop with an 11.3-inch display, and that was a passive matrix display. And since that was like the main selling point that Canon had for that laptop, they didn't sell an active matrix version because no active matrix LCD in that size existed yet. Now, yeah, I think yours is also passive. I could tell from the way the screen looked. It had that blue hue to it. Chicone made a TFT version of the NB7 with a 10.4-inch display. I was able to find that via the driver and BIOS page is actually on Wayback Machine, and the files are all there. I have them up on my website now, but there was a dual scan BIOS and there was a TFT BIOS. So there was a TFT version of that laptop made. I think Austin IPC, Austin, I haven't done research into them yet, but I think Austin was a separate company at first and then was bought by IPC, which is, I don't know, but they sold the NB7 as like the Austin Vista, I think, and I think they did sell the TFT version as well as the passive matrix, but those are a lot less easy to find. Because obviously Canon had a larger market presence than Austin. There's our hard drive. I did test. This drive boots into Windows 95 in another computer, so. I think we got all the screws. Yeah, there is solder. There's got to be soldered RAM on that, so it shouldn't be the missing RAM that makes it not work. Actually, I forget if I actually confirmed for sure that that had a soldered RAM. Let me check. Here's my local copy of MacDat. I'm on URL avalon.macdat.net. That's just my local server, so you can't go to that. It won't work. Actually, I forget. I had like an empty subdomain set up for something related to this. I forget if it was that or not. But anyway, that's my local server. See here, I have a section on Veridata, which was CTX's subsidiary. But they did sell generic versions of these, so I'm starting to get some documentation together. But if we go to Chicone, NB7, there's Luke Davis's photos that he kindly sent in. They kindly sent in. So yeah, there are the two screen options. And did I say? Yeah, it says standard 8 megabytes. So I guess I didn't confirm whether that was soldered or if it was a card, but I assume it had to be soldered. That's unlikely. I feel like that it wouldn't be. But yeah, it's, chips and text 65, 540 video, has ESS audio. So this would be a good DOS machine if you could find this one with the TFT screen. And a cool note about the Austin Vista, I found their website. It's like goaustin.com or something on the Wayback Machine. After Austin went bankrupt, they like published all the internal like tech notes and like technical bulletins and everything that was like formerly like their internal stuff for tech support to use. They just published it all on the website and left it up for a few years, which is pretty cool. And most of it was archived, so you can find some cool notes on that. Like their first batch of these that they got had a track point drift issue, and so they had to service some of those. And you don't normally have that stuff available for any of these old laptops. You just can't find documentation like that. So it's neat that you could for a lot of the Austin machines, including mentioning what the ODMs were for each of them. Like I think it says like this one was made by Chicone or something. But yeah. Hello, Agrisim Farming. Welcome to the stream. Back to the WinBook. Let's get this the rest of the way apart. These aren't terrible to disassemble. Or maybe I'm just saying that because I've done it enough. Only one screw mount snapped on your NB7. I forget if I've specifically seen an NB7 with busted hinges, but I've definitely seen a Ciccone MP975, which was basically the Pentium successor to the NB7. Very similar looking case. I did see one of those that had been completely destroyed around the hinges. It's probably still on eBay because you would pay $50 for that. I think it was a EPS branded one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 94, that's brittle plastic days. That's when that, or I forget it. Yeah, the MB7 is 94, not 95, I think. No, February 95 is around the time it was released. So it is a 95 machine. Either way, it's probably brittle, but I mean, just from looking at it, the way the hinges are, not confidence inspiring just from the look of it and how I'd imagine they did the hinge mounts, but maybe they added some metal reinforcement in there. But I'd definitely be careful with it. Because none of these, I've yet to find a single ODM that had decent plastic. Case in point, this WinBook XP. It's held together with JB Weld and positive thinking. Metal reinforcement at the base, that's good. I'd assume they had to, because if you look at the way the case works on these. Oh, hey Mac84, nice to see you. Yeah, the structural tape, that's holding the PCM-CIA door in place, because there's the hinge on this snapped, which I think they all do, regardless of if yours has been apparently dropped down a flight of stairs like this one has. Because I could see a crack on my XP5 starting. But yeah, just the way not a lot of material there, so if they just put the hinge mounts here, I'd expect it would crack here, but if they did put some metal in there, then... Anyways, the only reason... I'm not intending to make this a restored machine, I just want the motherboard to work, because I got kind of scammed on eBay for this thing. I have to do a video at some point just talking about the... I'm not even mad because it was cheap and it was it was kind of funny in retrospect, but the seller was not very competent. And Happy New Year, everyone. What is the hold up here? It's the tape, isn't it? Give it up. The Scotch tape is probably stronger than these plastics are. Okay. Top half of this is gone. Yeah, I don't think... It was already busted in the eBay listing, the left side of it, but the seller had just, like, some packing tape on it, and then after I bought it, they were like, yeah, I glued it, and by glue they meant the worst, I don't know if it was JB Weld or Q-Bond, but the worst job with that I have ever seen, and then it broke in shipping because they said they double boxed it and then didn't, and put no packing material, so... Yeah. But I just want the motherboard, and then I can find a plastics donor later. Oh yeah, this battery. This is a replacement. This is the new battery. Because these, at least the XP5, which is just a Pentium version of this, both made by ASE Tech. It won't post without a CMOS battery. If you just have it out, it'll throw 113 CMOS RAM error. So I'm assuming the XP probably needs one too. So I just stuck a new one in there. Maybe the Ciccone plastics aren't that bad then. But I did see I mean, maybe I wonder if I can actually go and find this eBay listing. because it's hilarious. You couldn't even tell what machine it was. Yep, it's still there, because of course it is. Behold. That is, by the way, supposed to look like this. Basically like your NB7. But it looks like this instead, so. Aw, thanks, Steve. Yes, if you'd like to like the stream, feel free. Anyways, we got what we needed. We got the motherboard. Let's get my microscope powered on. And I'll reorient the camera here in a second. Let me just get it focused. There we go. Alright, up you go. Hey Aaron, I'm glad that my tutorials were helpful. I still do them from time to time, but the problem is that my passion for it isn't what it once was, but I still do them from time to time because people find them so helpful. I'm glad that they were able to help you out. That's why I made them. So, yeah, here we go. You got a good view of this. You can see good. And I know you can do direct video out from one of these. I just got this, so I will figure that out at a later time. And the real issue though for streaming, for my videos I can do that, but for streaming, since I stream from my phone, I don't have a camera. I don't have a camera that I could use to stream from my computer. I can't do the multiple scenes thing with OBS that Mac 84 and people like that do. So this is the best I got for now. But anyways, so the battery leaked from the negative terminal. The positive terminal was fine. You can see no corrosion here. So believe it or not, every single trace in VIA here beeped out. So in theory, the corrosion shouldn't be why this machine isn't working. So here's my 3 ideas, the 3 potential causes of this not working. Number 1, I missed a spot and there is a bad connection. Number 2, something on these boards just dies because these seem to have never been reliable laptops. I found a post when digging through archived posts of the WinBook support forums. There was a post that I unfortunately can't find again. I looked for like an hour a few weeks ago. But someone had said like, hey, why are like half the WinBook XPs on eBay dead? And this was in 2000. So it was before Varda battery leaks would have been a factor. So there could just be something on these boards that dies. Or bad soldering could be it. And there might be bad solder joints somewhere. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to, with the microscope now, go and really inspect everything, make sure everything is intact, and then if that all checks out, we will start just reflowing the large chips and see if that brings it back. So I'm going to go get my multimeter, and we're going to get started. Okay. So this board does look pretty bad. Like, I'll bet you'll see this VIA and think this is bad. And that's what I thought too. But I double checked. Everything beeped. So, I mean, like this here, this VIA. That, you heard a beep. I just need to get a spot where I've actually gotten back the mask. But that beeps out. I can't see where this goes because this wire is in the way. I might go to another via. No, it goes to this pin on this chip, so we can just see that trace is actually good. Could it be design flaw? I mean, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Could be the case here. Now, it's interesting because my XP5, I think, is affected by the same issues because it does power on. It had less corrosion than this, and I can get it to power on and boot, but it has crazy power issues. I have to spend like 10 minutes waiting and warming it up before it'll actually post. Before that, it'll do exactly what this XP does. Power on, no post. So, is it DC to DC board? I don't know, because they do power on, and the power rail that I tested on this was fine, so it seems like that might not be it. And I did also, if I actually grab this board, this is the DC to DC board, I replaced the 3 electrolytics on this. I left the polymers because I had been told for the longest time that these are usually fine, and I think that is the case, but I have heard some people say that these can end up going bad, so I might try replacing these polymers. It could be that something's just very slightly out of spec on these DC boards, but it clearly works well enough that the system powers on, it just won't post, so I don't know. That chip close to the negative looks sus. You mean this guy right here? This is an IDE, this is like a buffer chip for the IDE because the hard drive connector is right here under the battery. I know at least that the XP5 will post with this taken completely out of the equation because I have a second XP5 motherboard that had way worse battery corrosion, several bad traces that go into this chip. And somehow that board posts every time, flawlessly, but IDE's dead because it has bad traces. But this shouldn't keep one from posting because this is just a little buffer chip, so anyways, now what's going to be difficult to do here is test these through board vias because I've done it before. I traced out where they all go, but with the microscope view and all that, I have to hold the board sideways, so you wouldn't really be able to see what I was doing, but we might just have to do that. Now, something like this via here, I mean, this looks like it would be bad, right? But maybe, because it was shinier before, but if I just scrape away a bit here, we should be able to reveal some more copper. Yeah, see? You can see the shininess. These are still intact. And I tested them, and they are. So, I mean, there's still a bit of flux on this board, so let me try to get some of that out. Hang on, let me read this, Aaron. Yeah, so if it's the metal hinges themselves have snapped and no longer hold any tension, then you are probably going to need new hinges. I did see one specific case where I think for the Dell Inspiron 8000 and 8100, 8200, and the Latitude and Precision versions of those, for those hinges, which often go floppy, apparently there's a way to put JB Weld in a certain piece of them that makes them work again. But I don't think that's usually the case for metal hinges themselves. But if it's plastics that are bad, my typical approach is if I'm fixing standoffs, I use regular old two type JB Weld, which works really well. And then if there's a housing crack that isn't fully cracked yet, it isn't snapped, but it's going to be soon, I'll use the JB Weld plastic bonder, which is a bit worse under like shear stress, so you don't want to use it on plastic mounts, but it's a little bit flexible. So if you need to like add support around an area that is starting to crack, it works really well. So that's my typical go-to for hinge fixing. Completely destroyed. Yeah, so if it's the plastics, that's what I do. But if there are chunks missing, if you have all the original plastics, there's usually a way to fix it. If there are chunks missing, that's the point where I'll say, okay, this is a parts machine. But yeah. Let me go grab my isopropyl alcohol. Because there's still a little flux here. Yeah, now you can see better with that these vias all still have a little bit of shininess. I'm tempted to desolder this battery just to make things easier, but I will need to just put it right back in. Yeah, see, that's still good. That still has all the copper. I mean, I tested all these twice, so they should all be fine. So that lasted a while, if you mean 2007 and not 2017. I don't know much about LG laptops because they haven't sold them in the U.S. until like a few years ago. So you never find old LG laptops here. Unless you count the Northgate ZX Portable, which was made by them. So where does this trace go? It goes to this point. I've probably beeped this before, but let's double check. Yeah, that's good. But this is all IDE, so it should post without this. It's this stuff here that I want to be sure on. But I mean, I think it's all fine. I don't see anything bad. I don't think I'm gonna test the through-board vias again because they were all fine before. And again, these two here by these resistors, I think it's just oxidized a bit from air, but still shiny. Laptops from 2005. Wow, didn't last very long, but a lot of laptops have just always been built with really bad hinge designs. Still today. I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm gonna flip this board over. There's our DX475. And really similar story here. And I know you're thinking right now, wow, until you go and scrape back these vias, they all look bad. And that's what I thought too when I looked at this thing. I was blown away when they all beeped out. I'm just double checking to make sure I haven't missed anything obvious. I mean, I don't think I have. All these look good. You know? So, I think the next approach here is gonna be to move to reflowing things. So, I mean, this here, ACC Micro 2066, this is the chipset. So the question is, do these get bad solder joints? Because what causes one of these to just not post? Is it bad component or bad solder joints? If we get this perfectly tuned in, and you can see here, the solder joints, I mean, this looks normal, and it's gonna be impossible to tell. I don't have anything pokey and fine enough to like try bending one of these to see if it moves. But I don't know, reflow can't hurt. I couldn't do this before because I was out of flux, but since I have flux now, go ahead. I mean, take it for what it's worth. I don't think this was based off of any direct information the person had, but on that thread I can't find anymore, on the WinBook support forum back in the day, when the person was like, hey, why are half the XPs on eBay dead? The like WinBook tech support rep replied saying basically, yeah, over time the case flexes and that can cause something to break. So I'm sure that wasn't based on like direct info about this computer specifically, but I wouldn't be surprised if, because these aren't built with very good build quality, with use over time, solder joints just flex and break. So I don't know. iMac G4s are neat. Oh, G5. Those are neat too. I've got a G5 iMac. Caps aren't bad yet. Oh yeah, I remember you. You've been in the stream before. We talked about the iMac. So I do have some more. Let me see if this is a finer tip, because the other problem I had is that my fine point soldering iron tips were like burned out. Like, let me look at all that. The very tip wouldn't hold solder anymore. So you can see how it's balled up there. The very tip stopped being able to hold solder. Solder wouldn't stick to it, so it was time for new tips. So I'm curious though, is this one a finer point? Because it looked like, yeah. So this is the finest one I have. And it looks very fine in person, but even under the microscope it looks pretty big. But this will do fine. We're not reflowing with the iron though anyway. We're reflowing with my hot air station. So let's go ahead. What I'm gonna do is demagnify this. And then wheel it up so that I can see the whole chip. Or at least most of it. There we go. Okay. Now I will get out my new flux. We're doing the chipset first. I'm also going to reflow the video chip. I guess the PCMCIA controller. We're going to do the Super I/O. And then test again. Here's our gigantic tube of flux. This is the Styri, which apparently is like the successor to the whatever I had before. It started with an A. The Brankus creation stuff. Whatever. The stuff he uses or recommends. So. Oh. I like that this one comes with a little precision thingy, because my other one didn't have that. Comes with multiple precision thingies. Okay. So I'm gonna move my laptop over here on top of all this junk. So I can still read chat, but I want to move my fan here. Is this powered? Yep. Gonna turn on my hot air station. And let's do this. Mask up. We need the plunger, of course. Come on, give me some flex. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this, and I know the second that it's going to go from nothing to too much. There we go. Taking a lot of pressure to shove it through. More than I'd expect. Okay. Okay. There we go. Do you think old untested computers and laptops are worth it if priced well and don't show any physical damage? Now really, I'm going to some, which means I can expect the computers in person. I mean, yeah, the most important advice I give you there is to know the laptop. Because if you know the laptop, you can know what the chances are that it's gonna work or not. Because, like, I might go and look at one laptop and say it's untested, it's in good condition, they're generally reliable and don't have leaky Varta batteries inside, and I'll say sure. But if there's one that I know has leaky Vartas and I don't want, if it's worth the risk to me that it'll be dead and leaked, then sure. If it isn't, then nah. Job lots can be good. I've only bought one job lot, which was my ThinkPad T40s, but that I did a video on. But yeah. Alright, so here we go. I'm not looking through the microscope for this, so I might block it. Okay. That ought to be good, I think. I mean, desktops, sure, if, it really just depends on is a capacitor plague machine, but desktops are a lot easier to deal with. Your worst thing you're going to end up with desktops, assuming you can replace bad caps, is, I mean, bad power supply or bad motherboard. I mean, if it's a bad power supply, you can replace the power supply. They're usually standard. If it's a bad motherboard, then, I mean, you're in trouble. But that's the main fear. Otherwise, they're much more repairable, which is why most people collect them instead of laptops. But not me. Ah, hey. HotchX86. Good to see you. And Happy New Year. Yeah, micro soldering. Yay. We're reflowing the chipset in this laptop. Just trying to basically throw the parts cannon, but instead of parts cannon, the reflow cannon at it to see if anything here gets it working again. Pretty sure that solder melted. I mean, it looked fine before. It still looks fine now, just with flux. So. And yeah, they're more unique. I get bored with desktops. Oh, I got all the flux now. I just got a whole new tube of the stuff. Big one. 30 grams. And I forgot to turn my fan on. That would explain why I smelled it so strongly. Anyway, alright, this looks good. Next chip. We're gonna move over here. That's a classic right there, the Western Digital WD-90C24. Yes, the Rossmann approved. I could use an extraction fan, but what's the worst that could happen? Okay. I need to. There we go. So again, this chip looks fine, but is it fine? I don't know. That's why we're doing this, because, yeah. My extractor's a desk fan wired backwards. Yeah, that's the other thing about desktops. You need a lot of space. Laptops, you need a couple shelves, and that's a lot easier. So, I'm going to use this larger bit for the larger precision thing to get this out a bit easier. Alright. Okay, yeah, that comes out a lot faster now. stuck to the thing. Hey Josh, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. I think that's enough flux. I don't know about you. Okay. There's the video chip reflow. I'm glad you got your laptops back, especially that wonderful mint green Siemens Nixdorf. Hey, you Europeans get those, us Americans get unreliable WinBooks, so who's really winning? Alright, this here is the PCMCAA controller. Is this going to be preventing it from booting? Probably not, but it's another chip. It's like the third biggest, it's the same size as the other two big chips we've done, so I might as well just hit this one too. So, then we'll hit the Super I/O and whatever the other one is, because there's two Super I/O size chips. So, I don't know. But oh yes, I need to crank start it. Thank you. I didn't think of that, but I should have. That must be what the broken plastic. It's not what I thought was broken plastic. Must have just been the hole to put the crank. And now I'm gonna need an official WinBook crank. How am I gonna find that? Yeah, you don't know about the crank starting CPUs? Oh, no, whoa. Oh, that's an actual... Wait, that's an actual thing? Oh, you mean like just a switch you flip? I thought you were making a joke about that's what this one needed. Oh, that's cool. Alright, here we go. My laptop goes to sleep if you leave it for longer than like 2 seconds. I should change that. An actual crank. Who would have thought? Okay, so that's done. Next we have these two. One is another ACC micro, one is a... Okay, it won't come across. You can see it in with the eyes. I guess this is just bad at reading it, but there is a screening on the chip. And I recognize it as the same type of thing that my Alpha Top Green 751 Super I/O chip has. So that's probably the Super I/O. And I needed to look for the Super I/O on that laptop because I had to run a couple bodge wires to get the parallel port working. You're going to want to remove these stickers before blasting it with hot air. Oh, and for some reason you can see the... Oh, that's funny. You can sort of see the screening that was under the sticker, which is fainter in person, but on camera here, it's more clear than the other text. So that's funny. But yeah, bodge wires suck. But I'm getting a little bit better at them. It's going to be a lot easier to do them with the microscope. So we'll hit the Super I/O first, and then the other ACC chip. And then we can put it back together and see it do the exact same thing. Everything here is stemming on the hope that ASE Technologies Inc. messed up their soldering with these. Oh, there are issues with this board. The issue with this board is that it doesn't post. So it powers on, but lights are on, but no one's home. So. And it's a fun one because it got hit by a Varda bomb, but no actual traces or vias are seemingly bad. I couldn't find any. Okay. That one's done. Last one is this guy. Oh, this sticker. I got lucky with the first sticker that just came off. This one is not gonna cooperate. So you heard it here first. System Soft is better than Phoenix because System Soft sticker came off easier. Oh, never mind. There we go. ACC Micro 2016. I don't know. What does this chip do? Let's see. Yes, you do need to remove it from your Jericom. This is a buffer and mux logic chip. It works together with, okay, so this is real-time clock, address buffer, data buffer. So that's surprising. This is actually the real-time clock chip as well. I would have expected that to be separate. Well, it's more than just an RTC, but yeah, just a combined whatever chip. It works with the chipset, which is the ACC 2066. Yeah, and send me a DM when you're gonna go and stream your FIC repairs, because I don't like ever get notifications from Twitch, so I'll miss it. But if you let me know when you're about to go live, if I'm available, I will tune in. So I'd love to watch that. Because it is a really nice retro machine. I forget if those have DOS compatible sound. I might actually just not know what the sound chip in those are. But if it has DOS compatible sound, that's a really nice one. And it's really nice even if it doesn't. You can play early 3D games, Windows stuff. Yeah, bridge machine. And yeah, I'm glad we've had more than just Luke here too. Not that I don't enjoy your presence in the stream, Luke. Of course I do. But it's the more the merrier. Also, I'm starting to doubt that this is the only real-time clock chip, because what's this Dallas chip for then, huh? Because I have never heard of a Dallas chip being anything other than real-time clock. So, I don't know. But that's what the datasheet said. There's our RAM. If this was the problem, it would probably at least give us a beep error. But that's where the sound card goes. But there we go. Every one of these large chips has been reflowed. The other side of the board just has a bunch of these, like, whatever these are. I doubt any of these have bad solder because they're so much larger. We do have the BIOS. I don't have any way of testing or reflashing this. These connectors, I mean, I don't know. I could go over these with my iron, but I want to test this first, just to see. There's the Varda damage area with all these. I tested them all. They're all good. So yeah, let's reassemble. Hello, Fog. Welcome to the stream. Okay. I'm gonna turn off my scope. And we're gonna go back down here to the bench. I'm gonna move the scope over so we have a work area. Do you think there's a point to dump the BIOS on the FIC and the Nantan? I'm pretty sure the FIC's BIOS has been the updater, the BIOS flash, whatever. I'm pretty sure I did see that archived somewhere. I think it was on the one site. I forget the name. It's not a pronounceable name. It's like a bunch of initials. It starts with an E. But I'm pretty sure the BIOS, the FIC is there. Your Nantan, I don't think there is the BIOS flash available for that, because that's before anyone was putting anything online, and I think the oldest Nantan or Clevo ever put up was for the 7600 maybe, which was their second Pentium laptop. Socket 5, much more normal than the Nantan 3600. I'm gonna grab some paper towels to get some of this flux off. When I just use my toothbrush, it just spreads it around. Yeah, the doc manual would be useful to have. The chances of it showing up are so slim. Funny though, the doc manual for this laptop showed up and I bought it and archived it, but you already know that. It's on archive.org now. And it did have dip switch settings, so it's conceivable that if you did find the manual for your Nantan dock, that it would have the settings in there. I'm not really. I mean I'm interested in like modern computers as well, but I haven't gotten into networking NAS yet. Although I know a NAS, it's just a computer with network storage, so it's not really much different. But that is neat. Okay. I'm never gonna get all the flux off of one of these unless I got an ultrasonic cleaner, but I can at least. I mean, already there. That's not actually that sticky. Might have actually soaked pretty well into my toothbrush. I don't know. That's not bad. One thing I am not sure about with this laptop is how the heatsink is supposed to work, because all there is, this bottom cover is metal. This is where the CPU sits. You can see there's a bit of thermal paste on there, but it's not spread out. This doesn't actually really contact the CPU. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. So a laptop with high-end graphics, having a failed GPU. That's a new one. Never heard of that before. How would something like that happen? At least on those, they're usually modular. Don't know if it's one of the dozens or I don't know how many MXM standards there are, but one of those. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is just missing a little block or something, or if it used a really thick thermal pad, or what the deal is. But there's no residue, and I'm 95% sure I got it this way. So I really have no idea. Now a DX4 can run without a heatsink. It'll just be kind of unhappy and hot. But I don't think it's supposed to do that. You are not spamming or rambling too much. Not at all. Yeah, I mean, 7000 series is at least better than 8000 series in terms of reliability, so there is that. Now my favorite part. You know what? I'm going to need to put it into my lap for this, because this speaker cable, I'm pretty sure, is shorter than it should be, because it broke and I had to fix it. So it's hard to plug in. And as usual, I don't remember which of these connectors is for the speaker. I think it's the left one. Okay. So what I can tell happened to this WinBook with the plastics is that someone who didn't know how to take it apart and is really not good at taking laptops apart at all tried to take this apart, because when I got it, this part here was completely broken off from the rest of this. So someone had just pulled up on it and it snapped. So, I mean, is it really brittle? Yes. Is that supposed to happen if you know how to take a laptop apart? No, not if you're careful, but eBay seller was not careful. Stupid connector. Get in there. Oh my god. There we go. Also, my laptop went to sleep again. You just need to buy a parts machine, Luke. I mean, maybe someone will have an individual part you could put another want to buy. Now I'm trying to find how the settings for getting it to not shut itself off like it does. Power and battery, here we go. Fixed it. Yeah, you'll just that's the problem. You just end up trying to fix the one you just bought. I just bought a PowerBook 160 for cheap that I'm gonna restore and try to sell. And this is annoying because this fell out. This is the little thing that detects that the display is open or closed. You know what I'm gonna do? I assume the way it works is if it closes, it sleeps, but I don't know if it's the opposite way around. I just don't want to have to undo all this that I just did. We'll just try it like this. It's not going all the way back together. Not now. Huh. Guess he doesn't want to sell it then, if you can't talk to him. As if this laptop could do anything that wasn't the most difficult, annoying thing. Like this laptop, usually you can't find a perfect laptop, DOS laptop, or any laptop from this time that has it all. You can find one with the perfect specs to run DOS games, plenty of those, but it'll have some sort of thing that breaks on them or something. Every single one of them will. And you can find them where that's only like one thing. Like, oh, they're just they're just sort of unreliable, or oh, the hinges break, but other than that, they're reliable. This one has the perfect specs, but hinges are terrible, build quality is terrible, Varda battery, general reliability is bad, and it has a Citizen W1D. It's just all of it at once. Yeah, I'm thinking someone had to pull, the seller had to have accidentally, like, left part of the heatsink off, because there's no way it could have been that bad. No one made a DX4 laptop where there wasn't a heatsink over the CPU. WinBook's own SX25 laptop has a CPU heatsink. I mean, that was made by a different company, but still. The only laptops I get that don't have any cooling at all are like SLCs or 46SL. But those were made to run without one. Now this isn't gonna go all the way in. I gotta be careful here because the hinges can just barely stay up, because if I tighten them anymore, it would break, and it's already breaking even like this because I didn't JB weld them because they're already hopeless. Yeah, it needs a belt. So, alright, wait a minute. Oh, so that's a GT8000 isn't that old. That's like, isn't that like 99 or 2000? Isn't that like a Pentium 2 or 3? I was wondering, because Citizen's own website says they manufactured W1Ds up till 2001, right? But I've never seen a laptop newer than like 97 with one, and even that's uncommon. The W1D's time was 94, 95, 96. By then, yeah, Pentium 3. So that's really unlucky, because they were not popular after that. Okay, let's see. We're gonna plug it in. We're gonna see if it powers on. Probably not, but plugged in. Power. Won't you look at that? It's still dead. I'll flip this switch. Can't you believe it? No, I don't. Do we have? Okay, we do have speaker. Your LTE Elite has a working W1D. That's really surprising. You haven't replaced the belt? Yeah, so none of the stuff we just did fixed this thing. How'd my CTX scare your Fujitsu? Data sheet for this? Well, I don't have a data sheet. I have a manual, but it's nothing specific. And it's still doing the only inconsistency I see in this thing's behavior. See, this time we powered it on, and these are the lights we got. But if sometimes, usually if I have it off for like a few seconds, not gonna do it, come on. Nope. Sometimes the little power management indicator will show up. The little faucet. That's the only difference in behavior this thing does. And yeah, I've tried external monitor and all that. If it was posting, we'd hear it beep, right? So yeah, that's the thing. If it's a bad BIOS, then I can't do anything about that. I don't have the equipment to externally flash it. Now I do have the BIOS update for these, so I have the ROM. Yep, there we go. See, that time the power management symbol lit up. I have no idea what that means. If that means it's getting further in the process or what. But yeah. Nothing on the screen. Yeah. Oh, that noise? Yeah, that noise came from the hard drive. That is that's just what this generation of Toshiba drives will do sometimes. It's a parking brake. It keeps the spindle, it stops the spindle faster. For some reason it only uses it sometimes. Like, I don't know if I can... You see, it seems to be inconsistent, because now if I... Yeah, there we go. Now if I flick it on fast, then this does light up, so I have no idea. But I don't know if this is actually meaningful, because the battery icon's there, and there's no battery in this computer. I took the battery out. So, I don't know if it even knows what it's talking about. I don't have high-res pictures of the board. I can take them. Yeah, the BIOS update thing, they had, WinBook had it up on their website in like 1996, and that's when it was archived, so I have the file. It's actually on the Mac.server. I haven't linked it yet on the page, but I have it on the server. Same with the XP5 BIOS, but then they took it away at some point. I don't know why. But yeah. So what's up with this? I just assume some component failed somewhere. I don't know. I mean, we can check some power rails. Off some chips. Yeah, I mean, I can do that. I'm about to take the board out anyway. We're just gonna run it outside the case so that I can probe it. I don't have an oscilloscope or anything, so I can't really do any too in-depth tests. I don't have a parallel port post card, and I also don't know if this laptop would output to one, so. I think I tried reseating the BIOS, but that won't help if it's just bad. It seems their bad solder theory can be thrown out, though. could. I don't have contact cleaner, but I could IPA it. Just it seems unlikely because besides where that battery leaked, this board was very clean, no corrosion, seemingly stored well. I mean, the other thing is there is like one capacitor in the LCD I couldn't replace, and none of the caps in the lower half were leaking, but the LCD just starting. Now that's on there's an interconnect board in here, and that's where the caps were. The LCD is actually solid state. I replaced like 2 out of the 3, but I ran out of caps. I highly doubt that one cap is causing this whole system to not post. It's not part of the motherboard. I mean, I don't know. And it probably even still works because you couldn't tell they were leaking until you got them out, and then there was just the tiniest little bit of like looked like a liquid thing. So I don't know. So other things to try would be replace the polymer caps on the power board, as unlikely as I feel like that is. Replace that one other cap. And then I don't know. I can't do much about the BIOS, but I mean, here we go. I can probe it from here. Let me unscrew the power button from the top case so I can hook that up. What is kind of neat is that this has a Hitachi LCD, which I've never seen before in another laptop. But it's a Hitachi active matrix color display. From this time, I've seen Sharp, Toshiba, Samsung, NEC, but not Hitachi. Have you tried running it without the hard drive and floppy drive? Yeah, I've tried minimal. I'm gonna plug in the speaker. And I might as well grab the suspend button. Purely so that I can make it beep to make sure it's on. Yeah, but that's Sony's later. This is 94. There weren't a whole lot of people making TFT screens in 94. I mean, my first gen WinBook, my SLC with a grayscale panel, that has a Hitachi screen. That's a grayscale. I think even Epson made a passive matrix grayscale screen. So power's on. Where do I stick the... Power's on, we can make it beep. Okay. So, I mean, I'm just going to get the data sheet for one of these chips up, find VCC. So first, just CMOS battery check, 3.7 volts. Here, is this a good ground? Yep. So now I can just probe around and look for voltages. 3.537. That's probably our CPU VCC. I think this was a 3.3 volt chip, if I remember. So that's what I said. The VCC on the CPU is a little high, but not too high. I tried disabling like onboard Ethernet and BIOS if it has it. Disable anything you can in BIOS. Run RAM test. See if there's an issue there. Depends on where it's freezing, really. DC voltage 19.5. That's what this needs. Still 19.5 off this cap. Don't want to spark the power button against something. Alright, let's get a... I want to try to find a rail that isn't 3.5. Oh yeah, well I should see if anything's heating up. I shouldn't do it with my fingers. Last time I did that I burned myself. Okay. I need to look at the underside of the board for that. So let me power this off. Yeah, what I did is I just finished recapping a Mac LC3. I inserted for some reason the socket for the ROM chip is 1 pin longer than the ROM chip, so I installed it offset, so I shorted something to ground, of course, touched it, it was super hot, gave myself a really bad burn. That's the worst burn I've ever gotten off a computer, and I've never burned myself off an iron that bad. But yeah, so that was a mistake. But believe it or not, the ROM chip survived, so that was the real surprise. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be something heat related. I don't know. Okay, so it's on. Let's do the test, right? I mean, I've felt the CPU. The CPU gets warm. It doesn't get hot. It gets warm. Nothing else is really getting warm. I don't have good enough light to do this, though, is the thing. Maybe I should. I can't put it under the microscope, though, because this is metal. I don't have a flashlight. I mean, yeah, it could be executing code, or it could just be heating up, because it's, because, like, I can leave my finger on it. It's not burning hot, which I feel like it would get pretty hot. I mean, it's getting warmer. So, I don't know. Oh, that's good to know. Looking at the IPA. It's hard to tell if the chipset's getting warm. Nothing else, none of these big chips. Oh, I mean, PCMCIA controller is slightly warm. This is still warm, maybe a little hotter. Still not really bad. These two are cold. This is VRAM, I'm sure. There is a reset button here. It beeps if you hit it, but doesn't make the computer work. So the kernel's crashing. On this computer, if yeah, I can't. This is I know it doesn't look like it's proprietary, but this is proprietary RAM. So, but it's gotta throw a beep code if it's just RAM. Yeah, CPU isn't really getting any warmer than just hot. So. This chip on the DC board is warm. There is a little bit of corrosion here on this battery point, but nothing much. This is AC mode, why? 18.9 volts off the battery charge. 5 volts off this pin, I forget which is which. I mean, it is just sim memory. I mean, WinBook said it was proprietary. It looks like you might be able to put a 72 pin in there, but I don't think it is. I think this is just proprietary. Let me see if I can just grab some voltages. Let me see, is this also ground? Yeah, this is easier to probe off. Let's go straight off the connector here for the DC board. I don't have the pin out, so I don't know what it's supposed to be, but... this pin has something. 4 volts off this pin. That seems odd. But I don't know if there's supposed to be a voltage on that pin or if it's just like a electrical anomaly, because I know there's like situations where that could be normal depending on what you're testing it against. Where you have the negative. $19.5 off this pin. I just shorted something. We're okay. Seems like I might have made a little blip. Let me just be careful here. Oh, I was thinking about grabbing a voltage. $19.5 off this pin, that's charger voltage. 19.5. 19.5. 19.5. 3.5, so that's our CPU rail. It looks like 72 pin buffered. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you think a standard sim might work in there, I could try it, but I don't want to fry anything, you know? That's my only concern. 5 volts. Okay, we found the 5 volt rail. It's 5.04, right in spec. Did the thing again. Don't do that. It's hard to get this one. Yeah. That shut it off. Hopefully that didn't mess anything up. Oh no. That's not good. It just quit on me. Did I just short something? Nuts. Could have just made it worse. Because I accidentally... No, I don't smell anything. But I might have. No, it just smells like flux and IPA. Let's plug a hard drive in and see if it's... Because I could have just blown a fuse or something. I don't know. So we... Yep, I think... I mean, let's see what that 5 volt rail is now, because we just lost our power here. That's AC. We lost 5 volts. What about our 3.3? Yeah, so we lost our 5 volt rail, and I forget where the 3.3 was at. Well, let's see if I can find a fuse. I mean, these are diodes, right? So I don't see anything. It's still sending charger voltage in. Unless, do we have power flipped off right now? Because we might just have power flipped off. I forget what setting it is. Let's check 5 volts again. That's... Yeah. We have 5 volts. So that was flipped off. So now it's flipped on, but it won't beep. So something blew. This VRAM is warm now. It was not warm before. It's getting really warm. With power off and unplugged, I think I shorted these two here, right in front of this capacitor, which is not shorted. This isn't shorted, but this VRAM chip was getting warm where it wasn't before. So I'm going to test for shorts on each of these. This chip wasn't getting warm. Anything look burned? This one looks off. It's not burned. Wonder if I can find the pinout for this VRAM chip. None of these ceramics are burned. Let's look at the other side of the board. Visual inspection, I mean, it looks fine. Yeah, I'll get the part number and Google it. I can find that. That's a resistor, though. Might be a 0 ohm resistor or something, because... Or that might be an inductor, actually. Those might be 0 ohm resistors, because they're colored like resistors. They don't have markings, though. Let me see. I'm gonna get this under the microscope. They're not labeled. Oh no, they are. They're inductors. L1, L2, C1, L3, C2. Yeah. Let me Google this VRAM chip. It's Micron. MT4C1 6257 DJ7. Okay. Got the data sheet. It won't let me... Okay, if I accept cookies, will you let me close this? Oh my god, you're so annoying. I'm not subscribing to your newsletter. It won't let me hit the X button. Okay, here we go. So, is this chip shorted? Let's see. VCC and... where's ground? Would VSS be ground? Question. No, this has no onboard RAM. It's just the chips on here. This is 8 megabytes. Okay, VSS is usually ground. So, let's see if this chip is shorted to ground. So, pin 40 is VSS. I mean VCC. And 5 pins down is ground. Nope. Not shorted. Not shorted to ground. Unless I have this backwards. Oh. Where was that beep coming from? I think this VRAM chip is shorted. Okay, yeah, because there's a dot here which indicates pin 1. So yeah, this VRAM chip is shorted to ground. So is it this VRAM chip or is it something else? And do I have a parts machine? I don't think so. I don't have a parts board I can grab this off. Thinking. I guess I'll take this off and see if the short's gone or if the short's somewhere else, because that would be a good test. So let's get this off the board. It wasn't shorted before, so I don't think it was our problem. but oh man. Okay. Okay, here we go. Really, that has no on board? That's surprising. Let me see. I'm gonna grab a motherboard real quick. Because I have a couple dead Pentium 1 boards. Maybe one of those has the same VRAM. Find it. Here's an easy one. Got the dead XP5. For this one, the KWB XP16. Yeah, you're never gonna find that though. But I'm sure you know that's the problem. Yeah, this, oh, I think, did my microscope battery run out? I don't know. Different VRAM. I mean, it looks like the same package, so I don't know. Maybe it could be compatible. These both have a mega VRAM, so, but it's a different chip. I'm not paying $108 US, unfortunately. Yeah, I might just call it here for today. I really was running slim on ideas, even if this, if I didn't accidentally fry this VRAM chip. So this board was probably not gonna work. I don't know what goes bad in these. It's weird. So I mean, what do we think? What do we think? There's nothing else physically wrong with this. I mean, all those vias are okay. So it shouldn't be battery leakage. Hard to say, really. Well, I'm sure the short that I did can probably be fixed, so I'm probably just gonna have to wait for a parts machine, though. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do. The problem, of course, with that is it's more likely to be even more Varda bombed. But that's entropy for you. You can't fix everything, and some of these models are just doomed. Sad as that is. I'll take high-res photos of the board, both for my website, and I'll send them to you. But really, nothing looks visually off. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this stream. Yeah, I'm assuming all the power management is probably on this board here. So, this could be the culprit. I mean, when you have an unreliable laptop, it's usually unreliable DC boards. And again, it's just hard to know for sure. But I do think whatever issue these have is common with the XP5, because both of them seem to have issues with power. So I don't know what it is. But my XP5 will be for another day. Nope. I don't have another one of these DC boards or motherboards. I have an XP5 DC board, but that's not compatible. Oh, and this is actually labeled 3.45 volt, not 3.3 volt. So, the 3.5 volts we were getting is actually more in spec than I thought. There's no adjustment pod on this or anything, so... Yeah. I'm just looking for fuses. I don't really see any. Could be using like 0 ohm resistors though. Well, maybe it wasn't in use, because the other VRAM chip that isn't shorted, presumably, isn't heating up still. So, I don't know. Hey, there's one fuse here by the parallel port. I doubt that has anything to do with anything other than the I/O, but I'll beep it. I probably already have. Is that bad? The heck? This fuse is blown. No. I'm in voltage test mode. What am I talking about? Fuse is fine. Fuse is fine. False alarm. Yeah, I mean, even if it was bad, what are the chances? Look at the shape of this board. What are the chances a fuse all the way over here is gonna keep anything over here from working? Well, I think I am gonna end stream now because I've been live for almost 2 hours. As usual, we made it worse than it was when we started, but hey, that's okay. I'm just glad we were able to confirm that reflow, bad solder, at least with these chips, isn't the issue. But yeah. Again, though, if it's RAM, it would post beep. It would I mean, throw an error beep. It would beep code. Here's the RAM stick. Everything here looks fine. It's NEC RAM. 8 megs. I just don't think bad RAM would keep it from throwing an error beep. Yeah. Well, this makes me think that reflowing these same set of chips on my XP5 isn't going to correct its power issues. So, I mean, the obvious thing with it is its DC board bad? And I have 2 spare DC boards for the XP5, but it won't post at all with, well, one of them I lost, I can't find it, but my other one, which is a known good, it's known good because it makes my XP5 with bad IDE, it makes that board post every time. That known good board, that known good power board, XP5 won't post. It does the same thing this board does. It just powers on, no post. And it has the dip settings the same. Both were labeled a 3.1 volt board, I think. They're identical revision. Like, I don't get it. That other, it's weird. But I mean, you can check. It's the odds I think are really low because these laptops weren't sold in Europe. So I don't know, but if you do, let me know. I take it just to have upgraded RAM for if I do eventually get a working one of these. My XP5 is already maxed at 32 megs. I did get a 32 meg Kingston module for that, which was lucky. Well. Oh. So you can get cheap-in. So that's nice. Hey, so you get the best of both worlds. Anyways, I'll see you all later. I'm gonna go have a snack. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks a lot for the help, Luke and HotchX86. I really appreciate it. And see y'all later.